My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. And this movie is one I've heard a lot about. I've heard some people call it a masterpiece and say it's a total blast and hilarious and really smart. While I hear other people say it's atrocious, it's infuriating, it's annoying, they hated it with every fiber of their being. And it just feels like there's no one in the middle about this movie. And I'm gonna say it's bad. It's not great, it's not good, but I wouldn't say it's the worst thing ever. It's kind of the 2022 version of Don't Look Up. Some people called that movie a masterpiece. Others said it was one of the worst movies ever made, and I think it's a bad movie, but not as bad as others say. What I did like about this movie is it's directed by Helena Regine. It's a very well shot movie. It's got some great sound design. I like how the soundtrack breathes life into this movie. And it's well made for what it's going for. And I do like the ending of this movie. It won't be for everyone. It will certainly divide people. But I do think it was set up very well at the start. And I do get what the movie's going for with all of its ideas. So I actually think the ending does work. But what really doesn't work for me with this movie is the cast. I'm not going to say the same cliche complaint that everyone has about this movie, about how everyone's annoying and all that. And yes, that's true. But what really bothers me is that the majority of the cast just feels like the exact same person. There's nothing about any of the women in this movie that makes them feel distinct from one another. They all say the same kind of stuff, they all act the same way, and it just feels very lazy. It feels like they all have the exact same personality, and that's not interesting for me. Like, the two best performances in this movie are Lee Pace and Pete Davidson. Lee Pace I thought was really funny, and Pete Davidson, you can say what you want about him, but he's a really good actor, and he does a good job here. But Maria Baklava, Amanda Stenberg, Rachel Sennott, Chase Sui Wonders, and Myha'la Howard, just their characters and the way they play them, it all felt the same. And when they're freaking out and screaming and all that, it did get on my nerves a little bit. And I get what the movie's doing with satire and all that, but this movie just isn't as clever or as funny as it thinks it is. You know, as much as I want to laugh at the absurdity of Gen Z or whatever, it's just not funny. I didn't laugh. I didn't think there was anything hilarious about it. It was just, oh, that's what some people say nowadays. Okay. And that's it. That's as much of a reaction as it got from me. And yeah, there's nothing about the characters that really carried this movie that got me invested in them. So I think that's where the movie really falls flat. And the movie was labeled as a horror movie, and I completely disagree. It's a whodunit, yes. But horror? No, absolutely not. Just, no, this movie is never tense or thrilling in any way. So there's that, and it should have been actually. Considering everything that's happening, I should have been on the edge of my seat a few times. But I just got caught up in all of the drama between the characters that it kind of took away from any bit of tension that should have been there. Like, they're in this big mansion, like house, and there's a giant storm going on outside. This movie should have been dripping with atmosphere. It should have had me on edge. And it just doesn't do that. And nor is it trying to. But I also think that this movie starts off well enough, but the longer it goes on for, the more I lost interest. By the end, I couldn't care who killed who, what happened, why did they do that. I couldn't care less. It never kept me engaged. I kind of lost interest in the plot after like 20 minutes. So, look, this movie isn't terrible. It's not one of the worst movies ever, and it's definitely not a masterpiece. Far, far, far from it. The people saying that are to each their own, but I do think it's a bad movie. It's well made, it's got an interesting ending, but the performances all just kind of merge as one. The characters don't stand out in any way, and it's just not as funny or smart as it thinks it is. So I'm going to go ahead and give Bodies, Bodies, Bodies a 4 out of 10. Okay, what did you think of Bodies, Bodies, Bodies? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon. And Gavin